You're listening to The No Money Down System Investor, written by Reinair White, narrated by Garen Patrick. We hope you enjoy. Introduction. Before you become successful, your comfort zone will be disrupted. What happened to the American dream? Remember when you were young and your parents or your classmates asked you what you want to be when you grow up? I will give you a minute to think about it. Now, are you that person you said you would like to be growing up? If not, why? Let me answer this question for you. You did just like everybody else and settled. The objective is to make multiple streams of income. Don't beat yourself up about it. You are not the only one who settled. 9 out of 10 people settle. You have to be the one that doesn't settle. Guess what? You have the opportunity to fix it now. So, if you haven't become what you always wanted to be, you are about to be introduced to 2 additional ways of making money. These 2 ways are following a system that I have already set up for you to win. Do not recreate the wheel. These 2 ways are in real estate. There are multiple ways of purchasing real estate. You have people who purchase real estate to build their portfolio up. This technique can replace the income they would receive from their job. These are rental properties. Tenants need a place to live, so why not provide this service for them, and in return, receive payment towards your future? Someone has to receive money for servicing these wonderful customers. It might as well be you. The second is not to hold on to it in your portfolio. This is called a buy and flip. What I will do is introduce you to 2 ways of buying real estate. One way would be if you don't have any money in your banking account. This gives everyone a fair chance. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, or Asian. You can do this. This takes the excuses out of your pocket. You know, just like I know, people come up with excuses for everything. They will tell you why your system doesn't work without even trying. They will bring negative Nancy into the picture really fast. They will tell you that you can't do this because of so many reasons. What they are really saying is, I'm scared to lose my money. Results. A long-term solution, or to cause something to happen. Once your peers start to see your results and how you made money using this system, instantly their perception will change. Now they are more willing to allow you to show them how to start making money using this system. The other way is to buy and flip. With this opportunity, you have to have skin in the game, but it won't necessarily have to be yours either. You can always use OPM, other people's money. If you don't have the funds, you can ask a family member to go to the bank to take out a loan, use your 401k, or use someone else's 401k. If you find the property, there's always money out there. You just have to paint the picture and show the lender how and when they will get their money back plus interest. You always want to give the lender interest back. This will allow you to borrow more money in the future. Another way of getting startup money is learning how to bird dog. What is a bird dog? Bird dog is a real estate investment term that is used by a broker, agent, or investor who spends their time trying to locate properties with substantial investment potential. The question comes up a lot. How much can a bird dog or wholesaler make? I will suggest from $1,000 up to 10%, whichever is more, of the purchase property amount. It depends on how motivated you are to become a bird dog. A bird dog looks for motivated sellers. Those are the key words, motivated sellers. Bird dogs also look for undervalued properties. The objective is to pass this great deal to another real estate investor in exchange for a percentage or fee. This is what we call assignment of contract. The assigner hands off the contract or purchase agreement obligations and benefits to another party, the assignee. An ideal setting would be the assignee stepping into the assigner's shoes and assuming all his or her contractual obligations and rights. So let's go back. We just learned about a bird dog / wholesaler. A scenario would be if you were at work and found out someone was motivated to sell or needed to get rid of their property fast. You told them you will buy their property. You buy their property within 30 days. You get the property under contract. You make sure you have the wonderful clause that says assignment of contract. You both sign off on the contract. You find another investor that will purchase your rights to your contract with your fee included. You close within 30 days. Guess what? You just got paid with no money from your pocket. Pretty easy, right? Don't worry if you didn't get it all the way. I will go more in detail later in this book, as well as in my step-by-step seminars that you will want to keep a lookout for in your area. Flipping property. Emily Cheyenne Jackson was a 5'8" healthy female with dark skin and light eyes, with naturally curly hair. She was born on August 15, 1999. Emily has 3 older siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister. Both her mother and father had great jobs. Her mother was a lawyer for a local law firm. Her dad was a stockbroker. The area where they lived was a wealthy neighborhood. Houses ranged from 2 to 15 million, depending on comparisons, comps of housing in the area, square feet, location, rooms, and likeness to other properties that sold within that area. Her parents made sure Emily went to the best school in the area. They paid a healthy lump sum annually to make sure she had a great education. All through middle and high school, Emily maintained as an honor roll student. She quickly graduated high school and went to a predominantly white college. After obtaining her bachelor's degree in business administration, she decided to sit out 1 year before going back to school to get her master's degree. During this time, Emily wanted to open a business, but didn't know what type of business to open. She didn't have any money or credit, so she asked her dad for help. Her father decided to help boost her credit by adding her as an authorized user on his credit card. She knew for a fact that she didn't want to go into business with her dad as a stock investor or spend countless hours working like her mother as a lawyer. Her father came up with a wonderful suggestion. He said, "Why don't you take the course Principle of Real Estate and become a real estate agent or investor?" After completing the course, Emily told her father she liked real estate and how you can make money selling properties as well as buying them. She said, "The only thing is, I don't want a broker to be my boss and take half of my hard-earned money on closing." 2 weeks later, Emily heard an infomercial on the radio talking about making money by flipping homes in real estate without a license. She called and registered for seating for the following week. During the seminar, Emily was presented with a hands-on 3-day event to show her step-by-step how to fix and flip properties. Emily's only problem was she was young, just out of college, and had no money to her name. With every problem, there is a solution. The solution for Emily was to ask the person she did not want to ask, her dad. After 3 days, Emily built up enough courage to ask her dad for some money. Her father's only condition in giving her money was she had to use her business degree to write out a business plan on how his money was going to come back to him with interest. She gladly accepted the challenge. The tuition for the 3-day event seminar cost her $12,000. After attending this event, Emily was ecstatic. She had learned a system that will keep money flowing in her pocket for the rest of her life. She could use this system anywhere in the world. She adjusted her figures on her business plan and presented it to her father. Her father checked and rechecked her numbers and agreed to sponsor his daughter. Emily drove through her neighborhood for 2 weeks looking for a property. She finally found a property on which she felt comfortable putting her skills that she learned to work. After getting the property under contract, she reconfigured her numbers to make sure everything was accurate. She ended up closing on the property 30 days from the time she presented the contract to the seller. Her closing consisted of an attorney searching the title of the property and making sure there were no liens attached to the property. Emily reached out to 3 contractors from ads she saw on Craigslist. She called the contractors' references and then had each contractor give her their best pricing. She told all 3 contractors that she wanted the property completely rehabbed before 60 days. Emily wanted to pick the contractor with the best numbers and the best-looking work in his reference. Contractor number 1 had the best numbers, but they didn't always get the work done on time. Contractor number 2 got the work done on time, but their numbers were really high. Contractor number 3 got the work done on time, but their numbers were higher than number 1 and lower than number 2. Who do you think Emily picked? Who would you have picked? Emily picked contractor number 3. Even though contractor number 3's numbers weren't the best, it was still better than contractor number 2. They also have the capability, according to their references, to get the work done on time. Emily thought to herself that she can always negotiate the price down on the next fix and flip. When things started to get overwhelming, she thought back to herself about what she learned in class. Every house has 4 walls. Don't overcomplicate things. She signed a contract with a contractor. They agreed the property will be finished in 30 days. They also agreed that payments will be made in installments after each work is completed. This property was a 3-2, 1,200 square foot SFH. This means 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. If there was a half bath, it would have stated 3-2, 1/2. The property size is 1,200 square feet. Emily borrowed $115,000 from her dad. Her dad is a stock investor. He had money in his savings account that was not getting a great sum of dividends. Most banks take your money and loan it out to other individuals. The banks charge the borrowers a high interest off your money. Banks make money by being the middleman in the transaction and paying you pennies to keep your money in their bank. With the numbers that Emily showed her father, he saw it as a great opportunity to invest in and being a great father to his beautiful daughter. He was also set to receive a higher dividend off his funds he was loaning his daughter. The dividend would be greater than if he continued to have it in his checking or savings account. After Emily received the funds, she went over the plans again with the contractor. She gave some money to the contractor to start paying for the materials. They agreed to get paid in phases. Once a phase is completed, she will give them funds to complete the next phase. She did this all the way until the project was completed. After completion, the contractor received the last phase of the money. During the last phase of completion, she had a choice to make. She could sell the house on her own as for sale by owner, or contact a real estate agent and let them do the work. Even though Emily was straight out of college with a business degree and knew how to make a system move smoothly, she didn't know how to market her property to the masses. This was her first house flip, so she wanted to get the house sold as soon as possible, using a professional who had a reputation for selling properties fast. Okay, take a step back. Why do I say reputation? I say reputation because you have to make sure the real estate agent you are hiring knows what they are doing. They need to have a proven track record of sales. They also need to have a track record of working with investors. You are different from a normal person. You are in this game to make money, not fall in love with the property. Your objective is to find, fix, flip, cash in, and do it again. So after Emily found her agent, they negotiated the terms of the fee the agent will be charging. They agreed with 3% of the selling price. Most agents will work with you on lowering the agent fee if you continue to do business with them. It is important to know that agents work for a broker. This means that they have to split their profit depending on how their contract is set up with a broker. This pretty much means if they are splitting the profit, the agent will receive 1.5% and the broker will receive 1.5%. After the paperwork was done, the agent and Emily were looking forward to the completion of the house. Once the last phase was completed, the contractor gave the keys to Emily. Emily gave the contractor his completion funds on a Wednesday. Emily then contacted the real estate agent and let them know the house was done. On Saturday, the agent had the house on the MLS, multiple listing system, and already had a date set up for an open house, which is a scheduled period of time in which a house or other dwelling is designated to open for viewing by potential buyers. The agent did a great job marketing the property. This property sold within 2 weeks after the open house. Emily closed within 30 days of contract ratification, both parties agreeing with the contract. What is closing? The final step in the real estate buying and selling process. Upon closing, the ownership of the property is transferred from the seller to the buyer, after which the buyer is free to start their move-in or renovation process. When you get to this process, the attorney has already drawn up the paperwork to transfer the property to the buyer or vice versa. The attorney already made sure the title to the house is clean from any liens attached to the property. Why do you want a clean title? Once you sign for the house, it is yours. This means if someone puts a lien on your property for not paying a water bill, not paying taxes, and not paying the contractor that rehabbed the property, it becomes your problem, even though you had nothing to do with it. At closing, the buyer received the keys to their new home. Emily received her check, and a week later, the agent received their check. Everyone was happy with the results. Let's take a look at the numbers. Disclaimers. All results vary. Emily bought the dilapidated house for $115,000 cash. The rehab cost $40,000. The ARV, after repair value, was $320,000. Property sold for $319,000. The real estate agent made her 3%, which was $9,570. Emily's dad got his original investment back, plus interest. Remember, his original investment was $12,000 for the class, $115,000 for the property, and $40,000 for repairs. In return, helping his daughter, he wanted to split the profit 50-50. Also remember, Emily agreed to these terms because no one else had the cash or was willing to loan the money. Cost of property, $115,000. Cost of rehab, $40,000. Cost of class, $12,000. Agent, $9,570. Property sold for plus $319,000. Profit equals $142,430. Emily, $71,215, and Emily's dad, $71,215. This turned out to be a great deal for everyone involved: the agent, the broker, the contractor, Emily, and her father, with this transaction. Emily's father, the investor that initially gave her the money, will not mind making an investment like this again. This has nothing to do with their relationship as a father to Emily. This has to do with the profit margin that he gained from this transaction. Think about it. Wouldn't you do this deal? He made more money in a couple of months than most people make in a year. Wholesaling property. David had his kid while he was 19 years old. He was doing well in school when he was young and tried to be there and provide for his family. He knew he had to take care of his responsibilities, so he stopped playing sports and got himself a job. He was very intelligent and a very likable guy, so when he went on interviews, he just knew he got the jobs. He was very confident in himself. He got a job in the banking industry. He started out in the back of the office as a debt collector. After 3 years at the bank, he got promoted within the company. He became a supervisor, and then within 7 years, he became the branch manager. He was doing well. He always paid his rent on time. Within those years, he had married his childhood sweetheart. The child they had together was now 10. They were living a happy and healthy life. It seemed like nothing could change or jeopardize their lifestyle until that night. It was 8:00 p.m. David was closing the branch. He made sure all the doors were locked and the alarm was on. Before he went home, he stopped by the gas station to fill up on gas. He didn't have his debit card, so he had to go in to pay cash. He pulled out his wallet and pulled out a $20 bill and told the cashier to put it on pump 5. As he was about to leave, 2 individuals with masks on ran into the place. They told everyone to get on the floor. David got on the floor. The masked men told the cashier to give them all the money. The cashier hesitated because she was so scared, so they shot her 4 times and killed her. They ran into the back room and grabbed the videotape after retrieving cash from the safe in the office. They ran out of the store. David got up and got in his car. After noticing that he was the only one there, he went home to tell his wife what happened. His wife was happy he was home, but asked why he did not call the police. David said he did not want to be a snitch. The next day, David went to work. For the next 2 days, everything was normal, until he saw his face on TV as a wanted suspect. He turned himself in without consulting an attorney. He had made enough money to take care of his home, buy clothes, food, pay utilities, insurance, and rent. He never put money aside for emergencies, and he couldn't afford an attorney. The detective said they had no other suspects but him. He did not know the law, so when they read him his Miranda rights, he kept talking and never asked for a lawyer. The police placed him at the scene and arrested him as the killer. David spent 9 years in jail when they found out he was wrongly convicted of this crime. The state agreed to let him go free. He was now 38 years old with no job. He tried to get a job after leaving prison, but when he went on interviews, all they saw was the person that was on their TV 9 years ago, a suspect, even though he had been exonerated for the crime. A year went by, tired of going on countless interviews just so the interviewer can give David the same look or say something like, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" He called his friend and got into selling drugs just to provide for his family. His son Bobby was 20 by now and didn't want to fall into the system of selling illegal substances. His wife was now remarried and had 4 other children. She had 3 daughters and 1 son with her new husband. His ex-wife had picked up a job as a CNA, certified nursing assistant. The ex-wife, her new husband, and her children stayed in government housing. Their rent was based on her income. Even though she was married, she and her new husband were on their last leg. They already talked about divorce before David got out of jail. David's son Bobby was born on September 7, 1979. He was 5'10", with dark brown skin and brown eyes. He had naturally groomed locks. All through middle and in high school, Bobby was a C-average student. Bobby's friends idolized his dad. Bobby thought highly of his father, but didn't want to follow the same path of selling drugs. Bobby was fresh out of high school, with no clue what he wanted to do with his life. All he kept telling himself is, "I refuse to go to college for 4 years just to go into debt for a piece of paper, a degree." He had seen so many people graduate college and be in the same position they were in before they went to college. They just had a degree. He also knew he didn't want to go into the military. He appreciated what soldiers did for his country, but knew that wasn't for him. Bobby saw enough in his life where his dad's friends were coming back after doing 1 to 2 tours in the military. They were coming back home with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. After a year out of high school, he was invited to a networking event. At first, Bobby didn't want to go because of 2 reasons. The first reason was that Bobby didn't know what a networking event was. The guy who invited Bobby to the event was Andre, whom he met through his girlfriend. Andre explained to him that a networking event is an event that entrepreneurs and business people meet to form business relationships and share information about themselves. Bobby said, "Okay, I don't mind being in a room around entrepreneurs and business people." Bobby said to Andre that he had one more objection as to why he couldn't attend the event. Andre told Bobby to tell him the reason. Bobby reached in his pocket and pulled out lint and said, "I'm capital BROKE." Andre looked at Bobby and smiled. He then replied, "Okay, you don't have any more excuses then, because this event is capital FREE." Bobby said, "Okay, you got me there. I will be there." Andre gave him the address. The event was held on a Tuesday. When he got there, his name was on the guest sheet, and he was able to walk in without a fee. Bobby looked around and saw that the conference room was full, and even more people were coming in. He glanced over his shoulder and saw about 80% of the room had guest stickers on like himself. This wasn't just networking, Bobby quickly found out. This was networking in the field of real estate. Bobby didn't really know a lot about real estate. He just knew what he had read from some entrepreneur books and saw on infomercials. He also knew that 90% of the wealthiest people in the world have some form of real estate. Bobby wanted this for himself. He wanted to be wealthy. He just didn't know how to achieve it. He thought this was going to be a great opportunity to learn about wealth in a seminar. His hands went from folded to relaxed on his thighs. Bobby was eager to learn. The speaker, Maurice, came into the front of the room and introduced himself to everyone. He told a few jokes to get the tension out so everyone could relax. He then said, "All networking events can be different. What we would like to do here is pair up people by numbers and put everyone at tables. At the table, you can introduce yourself, tell a little about yourself, and what is one thing you are looking for in a business partner, or what can someone else bring to the table that you may not have." Maurice looked at the sign-in sheet and said, "I see that we have 144 people here. We have 12 tables, so we'll put 12 people per table. The time limit at each table is 10 minutes. This is called speed networking, so you will be speaking to everybody in the room." Everybody counted off a number from 1 through 12. Each table already had a number on it. Maurice informed the class, once the number was assigned, to sit at the corresponding table. Maurice instructed everyone to hand out their business cards at the tables and have fun. Bobby's number was 7. He didn't have any business cards. He had a notepad and pen that was provided by the lady at the front door, who checked him in as a guest. Everyone went about and introduced themselves. Some people knew nothing about real estate. Some knew a lot. Bobby went from table to table, introducing himself and telling people what he wanted out of the networking event. Bobby told the people he was new and wanted to get phone numbers from people who were buyers and sellers, so he could piggyback off of them and learn their system. After the night was over, Bobby had accumulated 44 buyers and sellers' phone numbers. Before coming to this networking event, Bobby thought the biggest hurdle that was stopping real estate investors from making money was the lack of capital. He found out at the tables that finding the right property was holding back the investors. One investor at the table said, "If you find the property, the money will come. Just make sure there is enough room in the numbers that everyone, the homeowner, the investor, and the person who found the property, wins." I respect these entrepreneurs. These professionals are called wholesalers or bird doggers. Bobby couldn't forget the last table he was at. This was the table that he got enough courage to ask how wholesalers make their money. An investor named Akeem told Bobby he had been wholesaling for 8 years and has made a lot of money doing it. Akeem said, "First, you find a property. Ask around because you never know who wants to sell their property." He told Bobby that Bobby can do what Akeem does, which was posting sign-ups. Akeem said, "You see the signs on the poles that state, 'We buy houses.' That is what other wholesalers and I do. Believe it or not, we get a lot of calls using this type of marketing. The person who wants to sell their house gives you a call. You gather the information that a buyer will need, like square footage, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the selling price, and how much the house is worth." Akeem said, "You want to have enough information so that the investor that will be purchasing the property already sees the potential of making a lot of money on your deal. You have a seller. You have detailed information, which you now can write in on a contract." Akeem told Bobby he could use his contracts for a fee. You can also use any real estate attorney to write you a contract with the verbiage you may need. In the contract, it needs to state some type of consideration you are giving. Example, this for that. Some people may just call it earnest money. The seller gets to keep this item if the buyer backs out of the contract. If the deal moves forward, the money gets added as an addition to your purchase amount. When you close on the property, buy the property, the money is subtracted off on your HUD statement. The HUD statement is a standard settlement form that itemizes all charges imposed by both the buyer and the sellers. Bobby was instructed to find a seller, present the contract to the seller, and get the contract signed by the seller. Once he has a contract, he will need to call an investor, like Akeem, who will take it from there. As long as the numbers are right, the investor will fix and flip the property to make a profit. There are a lot of people looking for deals that they can make a profit on. The biggest obstacle is finding the deal. A lot of times, the deals are right in front of your face, and it usually doesn't cost any money or little money to start. Bobby made sure he got Akeem's telephone number. He heard a lot of ideas going around the networking table, but again, what stuck with Bobby the most was that he had little to no money. During the course of 2 months, after obtaining this knowledge, Bobby was still in the rat race. He did not act on anything he learned. It took Bobby seeing one of his friends getting fired from a job. The childhood friend who got fired worked at this Fortune 500 job for 19 years. This made Bobby finally realize he had to do something else. He needed to take the first step and act on what he learned. Bobby liked the company that he worked for. This company gave him paid time off. They gave him a 401k and also made him hybrid. This meant he didn't have to come into the office every day. He could work from home. After seeing his friend lose his job after 19 years, Bobby said to himself, "I have to do something. I cannot look forward to retiring from this job." His friend had stayed in the bedroom too long, and the company was already looking for ways to get rid of people. This gave them an opportunity not to have to pay out a pension. His friend was looking for a 20-year pension to help with his retirement. Now the pension was out the window, the friend didn't know what to do. Bobby didn't want that to be him. That day, Bobby went to the local store and bought 10 big yellow poster boards. He cut them in half and wrote in red marker, "Bobby buys homes," with his phone number on the sign. Bobby took his 20 signs and posted them at different intersections or poles. Bobby wrote out his verbiage he was going to say to the customers who would call. He would ask why they were selling their home, square footage, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. Bobby waited and waited for calls to come in. After 5 days, a call finally came in. Bobby was nervous, but he knew this was what he had been waiting for. Bobby was so scared that he forgot all his training and let the call go to voicemail. Luckily, the customer left a message. The message said, "Hi, my name is Keisha, and I'm looking to sell my property. I saw your sign and wanted to talk to Bob." Bobby listened to the message 3 times. His palms started to sweat. His forehead started to sweat. His heart started beating really fast. Bobby was really nervous. An hour passed before he could remember what his dad used to tell him when he was younger. His father David used to tell him, "If you are scared of something, it's okay. Do it scared. Just do it." Basically, the only way to overcome an obstacle is to just do it. Most people won't do anything. It takes a strong individual to keep going. Bobby started feeling a little bit more confident, gathered his questionnaire paperwork, and started dialing. The phone rang 3 times before a guy answered the phone and said, "Who's this?" Bobby was a little afraid, but was able to assert bass in his voice and said, "Hi, this is Bob, and I'm returning a call for Keisha." The man shouted to Keisha, "Who is Bob? He is on the phone for you." Keisha shouted to the man it wasn't his business and to give her the phone. She got on the phone and Bobby said, "Hi, Keisha. I'm returning your call. You're looking to sell your house?" She replied, "Yes, I'm getting a divorce and wanted to get rid of this property." Bobby said, "Great. Is it okay for me to ask you a few questions about this property you want to sell?" Keisha said, "Absolutely." Bobby went through his questionnaire slowly, one question at a time. He was able to find out detailed information that he will need for the end buyer. After negotiating the purchase price, they both set up a time the next day for Bobby to come over with the contract and take a look at the property. The next day, Bobby drove to Keisha's house and arrived 5 minutes earlier than the time they agreed upon. Bobby believed in the saying, "Early is on time, and on time is late." Bobby knocked on the door. A man came, opened the door, and said, "Who are you?" Bobby remembered the same voice from the phone call. Bobby answered, "I'm Bobby. I have an appointment to look at Keisha's property." Just as Bobby was talking, Keisha was coming down the stairs. Keisha told Bobby to come in. The man moved out the way. Keisha said, "Don't mind him. He has been coming around lately to pick up his belongings. The judge already awarded me this house." This man was Keisha's ex-husband, Jerome. Keisha informed Bobby that Jerome has been trying to spend time at the house by moving his belongings piece by piece. Keisha said if Jerome would have been more attentive like this, more into their relationship, then they wouldn't have gotten a divorce, but it was over now. She wanted Jerome to hurry up and get his things and leave. After hearing this, Bobby asked Keisha for a tour of the house. Bobby took pictures of each room. He also went outside and took pictures of the front and backyard. When Bobby finished taking pictures, Bobby presented Keisha with a purchase contract that had the words "Bobby and/or assignee." This created a way that he can assign or give this property to someone else with the same terms and let them purchase the property on his behalf. The contract also had the word consideration. Consideration could be anything of value. Most people use money, but you can use a car, a ring, necklace, or whatever both parties agree is sufficient. Earlier that morning, Bobby borrowed $100 from his cousin, Dwayne. Bobby agreed to pay Dwayne back with interest. They did not say how much interest. Dwayne knew what type of person Bobby was and did not hesitate to help him out. Dwayne said he didn't really care about interest but was okay with receiving it. On the contract with Keisha, Bobby wrote $100 beside the word consideration on the contract. He then pulled out his borrowed crisp $100 bill and handed it to Keisha. He told Keisha he will be purchasing her property in 30 days or less. Bobby and Keisha shook hands. Bobby said everything was contingent on his contractor coming back within 3 days to look over Keisha's property. The contractor has to go under the house, in the attic, and check things that Bobby may have neglected to check. Bobby said, "After this, the $100 is yours to spend on anything you like." They both agreed and went their opposite ways. Bobby was so excited to get his first house under contract. The first person Bobby called was Andre. Bobby told Andre about his deal. Andre told Bobby he was happy for him, but his funds were tied up on another property. Andre was doing a fix and flip. Bobby heard the words coming out of Andre's mouth over the phone. Bobby let out a big sigh. Andre heard Bobby sigh and quickly said, "Bobby, don't get discouraged. Remember, you have a notepad full of other investors to call. With the numbers you received from the networking event, I know there are countless investors that will take the property off your hands." Bobby knew he had 44 different numbers to contact from the networking event. He also knew he had to get a contractor at Keisha's house within 3 days. He knew he didn't have time for fun and games. He couldn't play video games, go to the bar, or shoot hoops with his friends. He had to act now. Bobby didn't want to waste time, so he sent out a text to all 44 investors. The text read, 1234 Lane Avenue, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 1,524 square foot, 3-2. Purchase price $100,000 cash, ARV $315K. Must close in 30 days or before. Bobby had agreed to purchase the property from Keisha for $80,100. After an hour went past, Bobby had received 12 different texts from different investors saying they were interested in the property he had under contract. After jumping for joy, Bobby had a decision to make: which investor he was going to give the property to. Bobby called all 12 investors, asking them questions. Some of the main questions he asked were, how soon could you close on the property? Did you know this was an all-cash offer? Out of those 12 investors, he was able to go with Rodriguez, the one investor who had everything in order. This was an experienced investor who has flipped countless properties. He had his proof of funds, which included an up-to-date bank statement. After meeting up with Rodriguez that day to sign the purchase contract that included an assignment fee, Bobby called Keisha to set up a time to come see her property. In 2 days, Rodriguez and Bobby met Keisha on a hot, rainy day. Rodriguez stated he was okay with meeting in the rain because this was the best time to see if a home had any leaks. After a 30-minute walk around, behind, underneath, and inside all the rooms, Rodriguez came back smiling, telling Bobby, "You did really good, young man." Bobby and Rodriguez smiled, and Rodriguez told Keisha that they can close in 15 days. Rodriguez asked Keisha if she wanted to use her attorney or his. Keisha said, "It really didn't matter." So Rodriguez said, "Okay, well, we will use my attorney. I will have him draw up all the paperwork. Let me get with Bobby and sign off on everything so we can get this ball rolling." Keisha said, "Okay, no problem." Keisha, Bobby, and Rodriguez all shook hands and went their separate ways. 2 days later, Bobby got a phone call from Rodriguez's attorney, Ken. Ken wanted Bobby to forward the original real estate contract over to them. He told Bobby he could fax, email, or bring it over. They just need it as soon as possible. Bobby told Ken not to worry. He will be there personally to put it in his hands. Ken's office was about 25 minutes from where Bobby lived. Bobby didn't care about the drive. He was so excited to meet an attorney who was working on his behalf. Earlier in Bobby's life, he met an attorney trying to represent his father, but this was different. Ken is a real estate attorney, not a criminal attorney. On this Monday morning, Bobby knew there was no way he would be able to get to the attorney and get to his job on time. Bobby did the responsible thing and called his job to tell his boss he was going to be late. After getting off the phone with his boss, Bobby got into his car and headed to Ken's office. On the way to Ken's office, Bobby's drive went from 25 minutes out to 40 minutes. Every red light that could turn red turned red. This didn't discourage Bobby. Bobby waited at every red light patiently until the light turned green. Bobby arrived just in time. Ken was getting out of a meeting with the client. As the client left, Bobby greeted Ken with a handshake. Ken shook Bobby's hand and said, "Where's the contract, sir?" Bobby unfortunately left the contract in the car. Bobby said, "1 second," and ran out to his car and grabbed the real estate contract. Breathing heavily from the run, Bobby handed the contract to Ken. Ken took about 3 minutes to look it over and said to Bobby, "You did very well on this one." Bobby smiled and said, "Thanks." Ken said, "We should be able to close this one within 14 days or less, depending on the title and liens." Bobby asked Ken, "What do you mean when you said title and liens?" Ken said, "We need to make sure Keisha is the only name on this title and can sell this property. We need to also make sure this property doesn't have any outstanding liens attached to it." Bobby shook his head up and down and said, "I completely understand." Bobby and Ken shook each other's hand again and went their separate ways. Ken went back into his office. Bobby left and went back to work. 14 days had come and gone. It was now the 15th day, closing day. Bobby received a call from the attorney, Ken. Ken told Bobby that they were going to do a double closing. In a double closing, the end buyer, Rodriguez, doesn't need to know what you made off the deal as an assignment fee. Also, all funds needed to purchase the property comes from Rodriguez. This is also known as single-source funding, with 3 parties involved. Ken told Bobby that he will close first with Rodriguez. He will take your $30,000 assignment fee plus closing cost and put it in escrow. You will then close with Keisha, taking Rodriguez's purchase amount plus closing cost. The difference will be paid to you as the wholesaler. Bobby told Ken, "Well, I already told Rodriguez what I will be making off this deal." Ken said, "Okay, well, next time, if you don't want to disclose your profit, you don't have to." Bobby said, "Awesome." Ken said, "Usually, if your profit is $5,000 or below, he just sticks the amount on the HUD statement, and all parties get to see what everyone made in the deal. Most times, when a wholesaler is making a little more than $5,000, a lot of the end buyers or original sellers start second-guessing the wholesaler's profit. The property owner assumes the wholesaler pulled a fast one on them. Ken said this is not always the case, but he has seen countless times when this has happened. Bobby said, "Thank you for looking out for my best interest." That day, Bobby, Rodriguez, and Keisha came in all at separate times to sign over documents. Rodriguez left with keys in hand. Keisha and Bobby left with checks in hand. All three parties were happy. The happiest of them all was Bobby. He drove to his bank fast to deposit his $30,000 check in his account. It took 2 days for his bank to clear the check. It may take fewer days with different banks, but with his bank, it took 2 days. The check had cleared. Bobby went from having $5.35 in his checking account to $30,005.35. He made this amount in less than a month of work. There are a lot of people who must wait a year to make $30,000, and he was one of those people before this transaction. He went to his job the next day and put his 2 weeks in. Before Bobby got into real estate, Bobby was only making $28,000 a year. Bobby didn't want to burn his bridges, so he gave them 2 weeks so they could find a replacement at this job. He took a leap of faith by quitting. His father told him to never leave anything on bad terms, just in case you fall on a bad time or the economy turns. In this transaction, all three parties were happy. Keisha made $80,000 and was happy that she was able to sell in 15 days. This was a house that she and her cheating husband lived in. That was the last asset they had together in their relationship. Rodriguez was happy because he bought a property with a lot of equity in it. His plan was to make money off the property by fixing it up and also leaving a little equity in it for the end buyer. Lastly, Bobby was happy because he learned a system that allowed him to make $30,000 in one transaction and in less than 1 month. Let's take a look at this deal again by the numbers. Keisha had a property at 1234 Lane that she was selling for $80,000. This was the amount she wanted when everything was signed, and the keys were given to the new homeowner. Rodriguez bought the contract from Bobby for $110,000 in cash. Rodriguez had to bring this amount plus closing fees to the closing, when money and documents are transferred in order to give ownership of the property to the buyer to get the keys from Keisha. Rodriguez agreed to pay all closing fees. Rodriguez could fix and flip, rent the property out for residual income, or live in free and clear. Some examples of fees that are attached to purchasing properties are organization fees, discount points, appraisal fees, surveys, taxes, deed recording, credit report charges, insurance, etc. It sounds like a lot, but it really is not. Although Bobby had $30,000, the greatest takeaway for him is knowledge. He now knows how to wholesale, buy, and sell properties repeatedly. Bobby took $1,500 out of his checking account. Bobby then called up his friend Andre and told him he was transferring $500 to him for taking him to the networking event. Andre was not expecting any money for introducing Bobby to the event, but was surprised that he was getting some money transferred to him. Bobby told Andre that he was grateful for being invited as a guest. Bobby said, "You could have taken anyone, but you saw something in me to ask me to come." Bobby was also glad that Andre did not take no for an answer when Bobby was trying to give Andre excuses on why he couldn't go to the event. Because of this, Bobby said he would not take no for an answer. He told Andre that he already sent the money to his Cash App. Andre thanked Bobby for being a good student and learning the system, as well as his generosity. Bobby's next call was to his childhood cousin, Dwayne, who gave him $100. Bobby thanked him for believing in him. Bobby met up with him, gave him back his $100, and reached in his other pocket and counted $1,000 and gave it to him. Bobby said to his cousin, "This is your interest, and I really appreciate you." Bobby's cousin smiled and said, "Anytime you need to do this again, just give me a call." They both laughed, and Bobby said, "Okay, no problem," shook his cousin's hand, and went on his way. Bobby went on to make countless wholesale deals, ranging from $5,000 to $50,000. Bobby was also able to show his father how to wholesale deals. Although his father was a felon and black, they quickly found out that the strikes and discrimination against them weren't there anymore. They can make money in this business as long as you follow a system. By no means are we advocating going to jail or prison. We are just stating that if you happen to get incarcerated, you could get out and still do this system. Now ask yourself, what if Bobby kept his wall up, like some of us do all the time? What if Bobby did not show some type of initiative and did not go to the networking event? What if Bobby said to himself, I'm going to stand this person who invited me to this event up and go back to bed? What if, after Keisha called him, Bobby never built up enough confidence to call Keisha back? Believe it or not, I have seen opportunities like this fall by the wayside countless times. People don't see the opportunities in front of their faces happening all the time. We are so busy wondering why your friend got the new job. Why was he or she able to purchase a house, etc.? How did he or she become a millionaire? And guess what? Everyone put their pants on the same way, one leg at a time. If they can become a millionaire, then you can become a millionaire too. You ever wonder what it would feel like being wealthy and having residual income coming in? Just being wealthy is not enough. You must have financial literacy. My team will go more in detail with this in our financial literacy events. We have seen people get wealthy and lose it all. How about a person that won the lottery and a couple of years later they are poor again? How about the people who don't diversify their portfolio, put all their eggs in one basket, and bet it all on one thing like the stock market? Those individuals go from millionaires to broke overnight once the stock market crashes. The American dream is to own your own house, or at least rent or stay in a house. The American dream is real estate. If you don't want to stay on the street, you have to stay in someone else's real estate, so it might as well be your own. What gets me upset is when you see kids fighting over real estate that is not even theirs. I would tune into the news or TV and see kids killing each other over a neighborhood they don't even own. This is just a lack of knowledge. They will say things like, "The guy was on my block," or "He's on the wrong side of town." I say to myself, you are not getting paid by the property owner to be security. If you really want people to stay out of your neighborhood, then work on a plan. Work on a plan to pull your money together with other investors to buy back your neighborhood. Now you own it and can help others out instead of killing each other. Bobby found out that there are plenty of people who want to help you get rich while they get rich. The only way that a lot of investors get wealthy is by helping out people like you. You now have a plan that will show them their ROI, which means the return on investment. Nobody wants to do anything for free. You want to make enough money so you can become an investor and help your community out. Let's take a look back at Emily and Bobby. Even though they came from different backgrounds, they both did not have any money and needed help getting started. Emily had her father as an investor. I know everybody doesn't have fathers with big pockets. That is just an excuse because there are a lot of hard money lenders out there. They are waiting to give money to people like Emily, who has been educated at real estate seminars. Emily is educated enough that she knows what she is doing. Investors want to feel confident that you also know what you are doing with your hard-earned money. Wouldn't you feel the same way? You are not just going to give your hard-earned money to someone who doesn't know what they are doing, are you? So educate yourself by reading more books on real estate, go to seminars, and then take action and invest in yourself by purchasing real estate. Bobby, on the other hand, didn't have any family with money. He took action. He knew his mother and father did not have any money, so he knew he had to take action. Bobby didn't have everything together. He didn't even know where he'd get the money from. He still took action. This was Bobby and Emily's first time in real estate, and none of their success would have happened if they would not have taken action. I focus on the phrase take action a lot because a lot of us will read books, go to seminars, and be knowledgeable about real estate, but are still scared to take action. Status symbol. Don't let status symbols ruin your life. There is nothing wrong with letting your hair down, blowing off a little steam, or getting away. There is nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of your labor. Everybody needs a vacation from work sometimes. Just make sure you do it with moderation, and not because you are trying to live like the Joneses. You never know, they might be spending money they don't have or putting vacations on credit cards. When you go on a vacation, go because you budget for it and can really take the vacation. If you already have credit card debt, then pay it off as soon as possible. Once the credit card is paid off, use that money to build a business. The cash back from the credit card or residual income from the business can be used to pay for a vacation. Rich people focus on net worth. Poor people focus on pay raises. Everyone has goals that they want to achieve in life. You have to figure out if you want to be part of someone else's goal in future to get wealthy as a worker or your own goal as a boss. I get it. It is so hard to step outside the box and be an entrepreneur. You have to make a lot of mistakes and be okay with that. Making mistakes is how you learn. I also get that we all grew up getting graded on a grading scale that did not allow us to make mistakes. Mistakes are not allowed while we are in school. When you are out of school, you have to learn that if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just make sure you learn from it and you do better next time. Guess what? You made a mistake. It's okay. Now you know what not to do. This is based on your own experience, not what someone has told you. So don't get discouraged. This should enhance and improve your skills. Let's not get rich. Let's get wealthy. Let's not be satisfied by just making it and being able to pay your bills. Let's work the system until you don't have to work anymore. You want to become an investor who is helping other investors with their deal. It is about money in the beginning. Think about it. Once you buy all the toys you want and have been on all the trips you have always wanted to go on, what is next? You have to give back. This is when you help others that are less fortunate than you. There are a lot of individuals who want to learn and not get a handout. You are split into 3 categories. You are either poor, rich, or wealthy. I believe it's not your fault financially how you came into this world, but it's your fault how you leave this world. It depends on how you spend and invest your money. Everybody who has a job gets paid either daily, weekly, or monthly. A great thing to do is write down your goals, hopes, and dreams. Decisions are really made when you have the money in your hand. You know what you need to do with that money. The obstacle you have to jump over is, what are you going to do with that money? Everyone that has 2 legs puts on their pants the same way, 1 leg at a time. Rich or poor, it doesn't matter. It's the exact same way. Why do I always say this? It's easy to write your goals down, weekly, monthly, and yearly. But when the funds come into your account, something always comes up. Here is a list of obstacles that you may have to jump over. 1. Someone needs to borrow money from you. 2. A new bill that you didn't budget for. 3. You want to go on a vacation that your friends have bragged about. 4. You want to buy yourself new shoes, clothes, and furniture. A lot of people say to themselves, I can't keep working and don't have anything to show for it. Show who? Who are you trying to prove something to? Are you proving something to people who don't really care about you? It would be wise to save your money for investments. Keep this in mind as well. People see you a mile away. People see that you are on another level of thinking. They say to themselves, hey, this person is successful. I can borrow money from them and they won't really need it back. They will tell you that they will pay you back, but they really can't or just won't pay you back. So if you don't have the funds to just give it to them without missing it, then don't lend it at all. This will cause fewer problems in your friendship or relationship. Just be honest. Tell them you need your money to invest in your future goals as a system investor. A new bill can come up out of nowhere. You have your light, water, phone bill, car, furniture, tuition, insurance, taxes, etc. The list goes on. You need to make sure you budget every month. No matter what comes up, stick to your budget. If something comes up that wasn't on your budget as an emergency, then put it on the next month's budget plan. You need to follow this system and your budget. The buddy system. Perhaps you need to find yourself someone to partner up with. This could be a friend or a person you just met. Just make sure that you both agree to go to events together, read books together, and hold each other accountable. Ask each other questions like, what have you done today to get yourself out of the rat race? Have you done anything pertaining to real estate? When will you start? How can I help you get started? These are questions a good partner will ask. I know you both want to see each other living comfortably. Wouldn't you like to be lying on the beach with a cold beverage in your hand? Watching everyone else work hard as your hair is just flowing in the wind. Wouldn't that be wonderful? You and your buddy are planning vacations but don't have to worry about PTO, paid time off, or vacation days because you have residual income coming in. We love when people choose a buddy because it's much more fun when you and someone else are getting money. This is especially the case if it's residual income. Residual income is income that comes in repeatedly, even if you are working or not. For example, people will have to have a place to stay, so every month they have to pay you for living in your property. Nobody wants to continue with a 40-40-40 plan, which is 40 hours a week for 40 years, and get back in retirement 40% of what you were making when you were working. The government promises you will receive a check every month if you work until retirement age. What is the retirement age? Is it 65 years old, 66, 67? The age limit keeps rising. There are a lot of individuals who don't even get to see this age. So now what? Would you continue to work really hard for 40 years? Would you continue to accept 40% of your previous income? If you are struggling now with 100% of your paycheck, then how would you make it with 40% of your paycheck? The hard pill to swallow is most people can't survive with only 40% of their paycheck. This is why most will retire and go out and get another job. Hey, we're not saying go out and quit your job today. Use your job as a business partner that gives you cash to help you get to your goal. What we are saying is to get with your buddy and work on an exit strategy. When you do quit, we want you to have money set aside to pay your regular bills. Guess what? You are not getting any younger. Every day the sun rises, which is a beautiful thing to see. You are blessed. As buddies, you have to be truthful to one another and let your business partner know when they lose focus. As buddies, you should not want to see your business partner having to wake up and do 40 hours for 40 years just to be poor. Most people look in the mirror and continue to lie to themselves. This is why you need a buddy you can trust to tell you the truth. There are too many opportunities in this world, and we have to achieve these goals as soon as possible. Don't fail to plan. Start saving money for investments now. Do not do what others do. People fail to plan. Start as small as $1 a day. That is $30 a month. You can go without buying lunch every day. Try prepping and bringing lunch from home. You can pre-plan your meal for the week. This will also help you stay fit. Talking about hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Talk to your family members. Ask them how they saved money and became successful. If there is not a successful person in your family tree to ask, guess what? Tag, you're it. You need to be the first one in your family tree to set an example. You need to be the successful one who will be asked in the future how you did it. You also need to be able to show people how to follow a system. Why not you? You are a future millionaire. Don't expect anyone to give you anything. If you can still breathe, guess what? You are blessed. People are always comparing themselves to the next man. It may seem from afar that they have it all, but you never know what problems they are facing. They probably will be ready to give it all up just to have what you have. On this journey of getting very wealthy, you have to realize that this is not a sprint. It is a marathon. With that being said, make sure you pace yourself. Any mistakes being made along the way, learn from them and keep pushing. During this pace, you want to work your system, mentally and physically. Repeat after me. I am a future millionaire. Just as you are building your business every day, mentally, you want to work your body every day physically. Throughout the day, try to train your body for at least 30 minutes a day with a small workout. You will notice a significant change that you will appreciate. Why not be in great shape, enjoying your wealth? The reason I'm going over this is that I've seen a lot of times when wealthy people can't enjoy their wealth. On their path to getting wealthy, they didn't take care of their body. We must all remember that we only get one body. You better take care of it before it breaks down on you. With this system, you are going to have to accept that if there is a will, there is a way. This means if you are willing to go the extra mile, there is always a way to get it done. People say, "I don't have enough money to pay myself $1 a day." Are you telling me you are going to pay your bills but not save and pay yourself first? You have to prepare for the future now. If you can't save money for yourself every paycheck and pay your bills at the same time, guess what? You need more income. Get another job, full-time or part-time. Sell things in your house you no longer want. Whatever your body can handle, this new source of income will help you along the way to save money for yourself. Think of this as temporary. This is not something you will do forever. This job is only to build up your cash reserves. Hint, this is not for vacation or paying off bills. You are doing that with your regular income, so don't commingle those funds together. This built-up money is to build up your savings or investment account. In the beginning, it will seem like it is overwhelming. Keep in mind, this is just disrupting your comfort zone. You are used to doing what everyone else is doing. You have to step out of that circle and create your future in this system. For some people, this is a life-changing event, but you have to get it done by any means necessary. Your friends and family love you and mean no harm. They are going to say you are working too hard. They don't see your vision yet, and that is okay. Let them know that you are working as an investor for your future, not for the present. You have a financial freedom goal that you want to achieve. The unexpected. I was watching a movie the other day with my wife and kids. Now, in this movie, people were fighting for equality. They were fighting against police brutality and marching for their freedom. One of the freedom fighters, I'm going to call him Dwayne, lived in an apartment complex. This apartment complex was rather big in size. It has roughly about 300 units or apartments. Dwayne worked every day to provide food and keep a roof over his family's heads. Even though Dwayne was the head of the household, he still found time to march and hold rallies about equality. One day, the local media was looking for a big story and decided to film their march. When they asked the group why they were marching, Dwayne quickly answered that he does this for his kids' future. Dwayne said he was trying to make sure that they don't have to go through the same thing he and his ancestors went through. The media ran this on all local channels of television. This led to more people of all ethnic groups who wanted to march and come together for social justice. Although Dwayne was fighting for social justice, he was renting an apartment that he did not own. Dwayne always paid his rent on time and never gave any trouble to the landlord or management of the complex. Dwayne had been living at the apartment complex for 7 years and was up for renewal of his annual lease. That Monday morning, after the airing of the news interview, Dwayne went to sign his annual lease. He was greeted with bad news. The news was that they, unfortunately, could not renew his lease. He was also told that he has 30 days to find somewhere else to live. Dwayne was very upset about this news. Dwayne said to himself, "How could this be? I always pay my rent on time every month. Sometimes I pay in advance." Dwayne said to the management representative, "How could you kick me out? I have no place to go." The representative said, "I can understand how upsetting this could be, but the owners of the rental complex said that they want to move forward in another direction." Dwayne said, "Why now?" Management said, "The owners saw you on TV. Even though I know you are not a terrorist, they have you labeled as a domestic terrorist. They said you were inciting riots, and they would not tolerate a person like this living on their property." This left Dwayne with so many emotions. He was upset, scared, and frustrated. He was upset because he was not prepared to move. He didn't have anywhere to go. He was scared to tell his wife and kids that they only had 30 days to find somewhere else to live. He was frustrated because he was trying to move the country 1 step forward, but was moving himself and his family 2 steps backward. At this moment, Dwayne realized that anytime you rent, instead of owning your own property, you are at the mercy of the landlord you are renting from. At any time, the landlord can step on you like a cockroach until he hears the crunch of your back breaking. The questions that are spinning around are as follows. What is Dwayne going to do now? What could he do? What would you do in this circumstance? One would say this is not fair, but I want you to get the facts in your head that life is not fair. It would never be fair. This is one of the fundamental reasons you never want to get comfortable with your living arrangements until you have completed your goal of home ownership and financial freedom. Look, just having a house is not enough. You have to get started. If you truly want financial freedom, you have to replace your linear income with residual income. I agree it will take some time. You may have to pick up another job or work 50 hours instead of 40. You will do your regular scheduled 40 hours to pay your day-to-day bills. The other 10 hours will be to build your business. Hey, I get it. It will be hard getting out of that comfortable bed or not being able to watch your favorite TV show on the big idiot tube. The objective is to work really hard at this present time, giving 110%, so that later on in your life you can relax on the beach. Repeat after me. I am a future millionaire. You will be relaxing knowing you have residual income coming in every month. You do not want to be an individual who is relying on Social Security to send you a check at the age of retirement. You want to be on the path of having multiple checks coming in every month. Just think, would it be okay not to depend on the government to send you your Social Security check? This is if they have not run out of money when you reach the age of retirement. If the Social Security check comes, it comes. Just don't depend on it. Guess what? You are on the path of having other mailbox money come in. Take a deep breath. Look around. Ask yourself, are you where you want to be in life? If not, why? If not this system, what system will get you there? If not now, then when? Do not fill your life with excuses. It's time to take action. Do not keep putting it off. Earn and learn while doing this business. You need to start today. Don't be afraid that you don't know everything. Even to this day, people are still learning new tricks for acquiring properties. Keep your eyes open for our new financial literacy events coming to a city near you. It's time to take action now. You are a future millionaire. About the author. Reinair White, well known as Mr. Take Action, graduated from Norfolk State University with a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies. Reinair gives you a realistic strategic system of taking action that anyone can achieve from the comfort of their own home. Growing up, Reinair experienced multiple evictions that took place in his household. This had an adverse effect that shaped his mind on owning real estate instead of renting. Reinair borrowed money many years ago to attend his first real estate seminar. Reinair took action and has now owned and managed over 1,000 properties. He has also sold and rehabbed over 150 properties. Now Reinair spends his time teaching seminars when he's not on vacation. In the No Money Down System Investor, Reinair will be able to teach you his successful system to get you in the game of real estate. You've just listened to The No Money Down System Investor, written by Reinair White, narrated by Garen Patrick. The end.